Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Land Effects webinar. My name is Paul Houchin, and today we have a very special guest with me. His name is Peter Kirkland, and he hails all the way over in Australia. And he's going to be giving you a tour of his vast planting database that he has been working on for a very long time. We wanted to show this off because if you subscribe to his database library, you can access all of that wonderful PlantFile plant information through Land Effects. Before we get started, I wanted to go over some housekeeping items. First off, if you are in full screen mode, you have the option to get out of it by either clicking the exit full screen icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, or you can simply press the escape key. Additionally, you can talk amongst yourselves in the chat box, which is located at the bottom of the screen. And if you want to ask any questions for Peter or myself to be answered live, there is a Q&A box at the bottom. We will periodically take little breaks to answer those questions as they come in. Before the day, we have this outline planned. First off, I'm just going to give a quick overview introduction of PlantFile, and then I'm going to hand it over to Peter so that he can go through his demonstration of the power behind it. And then after that, I'll go into Land Effects itself and show how you can access PlantFile instead of the Land Effects plant database. And once that's over, we'll have some closing notes and take any final questions. So first off, what is PlantFile? PlantFile is a subscription-based database of plants from all over the world, and it can be used in substitution of the Land Effects database. Each plant within PlantFile contains a profile of useful and accurate data. And probably most importantly, it contains an intelligent browsing and search system for locating these plants. Once you've found your plants, there's a unique organizational system to which you can create a profile within PlantFile to compile these different groups of plants or plant palettes. You can save those, you can go back to them and use them for later projects, and you can create planting reports on demand. And PlantFile has all kinds of additional information for broadening your plant knowledge. Here you can see there's different climate zones, various maps for finding which plants are appropriate for which climate zones, elements like pests per plant or diseases, all this great information to know about when you're deciding on what plants to be using with your designs. So I'm going to stop talking for a little bit and hand the microphone over to Peter so that he can give you a more in-depth look at what PlantFile does.
Hello everybody, welcome to this webinar on Land FX integration with PlantFile. Before I start, I would like to tell you a little about myself and the development of PlantFile. I've been involved in the horticultural industry for over 40 years, and during that time I was a senior horticulturist at Ku-ring-gai College in Sydney for many years, where I first trialled PlantFile on the college mainframe in 1982. I originally created PlantFile for myself, but it came to my attention that many people also want to access this type of information. So after leaving the college, I started a structural landscaping company that I ran for over 17 years, building domestic and commercial gardens. It was during this time I employed a programmer to write the first PC version of PlantFile, which was similar to the current version, but in CD form, and was released in 2001. Due to demand, I ended the landscaping business and concentrated on development and expansion of PlantFile. For the next 10 years, our small team traveled to numerous countries to photograph the plants, attend many gardening shows in Australia and the US promoting PlantFile. We had also written our first online version, which was taken up by colleges in Australia for the horticultural and landscape design students. It proved to be very popular, and as a result, a rewrite of the online format to its current interface. It is now used as a textbook in colleges and universities throughout Australia. It is also used in the state government councils, landscape architects, landscapers, and home gardeners, just to name a few. So today I'm going to show you the latest development as we team up with LandFX, creating the best landscape design package available. I'd like to start this short demonstration showing you the multiple ways that you can search for plants in PlantFile. PlantFile is like a book. You can scroll through the plants like a picture book to select plants. Or you can select them by botanic name, family name, common name, cultivar name, or plant overview. If you go into botanic name and you type in it'll quickly find the plant, highlight the plant, press the button, and there's the plant. It's always good to recycle after everything that you do in PlantFile because it tends to remember everything. Okay, so the next way of sorting for plants is a list search. You can go into the list search, and here it lists all the botanic names of the plants. So simply just click on the button and then highlight a plant, and it'll open it up in the plant details. I'll go back. Another way of searching for plants in PlantFile, which is quite easy, is you go to the plant overview. In here, you can type in any word and it'll search the entire database. Say, for example, you're building a cottage garden. Just type in cottage, CH, and then search. Now it lists plants that are suitable for cottage gardens. You can scroll through the plants and have a little look at them. Or say, for example, that you're looking for a cultivar. Maybe you want to put something in like rubra, R-U-B, R-U, rubra, search. Well, bad spelling mistake there, sorry. Anyway, you can search for cultivars, like, and you can search in the cultivar section here. And it'll list all the plants in cultivar form. Okay, I'll just recycle that. If you're looking for plants for a particular criteria, you go into the simple search. It takes a little time for it to load here. It's got all the plants plus the images to load. So you can look for something simple like, let's say for a growth type, you go for a tree. And you want it to be growing in a loamy soil. And you want it to a maximum height of, say, 20 meters. You have to press the enter button to make that register. And now it's come up with 464 species that are suitable. You can preview them with a little passing over the top of the thing like that. Or you can go to the top and just click this button here. And now here's the first of the 464 species that appear. You can scroll through the plants to choose which plants you think are suitable. All right. If you want to go back into this event, the simple search, and make more criteria, you can simply do that. Maybe you want it for a temperate zone. I think the trick with this part of the searching system is that you don't put in too much criteria, otherwise you may end up with a negative result. It's best to just put in basically what you need, and then press the button and it'll find the plants that you've now selected. Okay, I'll go back to all plants. So if you're doing any searching, always go back to all plants. I'll go into the advanced search. In here, you can search on any botanical criteria. Always make sure that the blue line stretches right across. In here, you can search for, let's say, we'll go for a shrub. And if we go into leaf, for example, and you want a shrub with a particular leaf shape, it has all these botanical terms. If you're not sure of those botanical terms, just click on the button here. And as you pass your mouse over the top of those terms, it'll give you a little glossary telling you what it is. Okay. And we'll go for something like oblong. Okay. So it also allows you to search on other things like flower and fruit. So if you go into flower shapes, for example, maybe you want particular flower shapes or fruit types. Same with the fruit type. just click on the button here and scroll through. Okay, I'll just close that. We've selected 137 species here. Once again, you can preview them. So if you're hunting for a plant that you're not sure of, you can actually do it here. Or if you want to see them on the visual browser, just click the button here. And now the plants appear on the visual browser for you. Okay, I'll go back in. If you go back into the advanced search and you want to do another search, be certain to recycle it. Otherwise, you'll only be searching on the plants that you've already set up. Like that. Okay, thank you. You can also search for plants just on simple things like climbers or grasses or trees. And then you can just scroll through the plants and have a look at them like this. And if you see one you like, then you can open the file to see the information regarding this plant. If you pass your mouse over the top of the plant, you'll see that there's some basic information. There's also a little camera here, which allows you to have a look at the gallery of the plants without having to actually open up the file. So you can go through your photographs like this. And there's a variety of photographs in this database. I think there's over 20,000 photos now. Close that. To open the details, click on the button here. And inside here, you've got detailed information. So in PlantFile, I've tried to document all the plants to roughly the same level. So this is an example of what you can expect from each plant. The first thing it's got here is a plant profiles report. Every plant has a profile report, which shows you all the information regarding this particular plant. Now, these are ideal for sending off to clients or printing out as hard copies for a portfolio. You can simply just press the print button here and it'll download for you as a PDF. You can then open that PDF and it appears like that. Very simple. And it'll indicate which flowering and fruiting period it's in. I'll just close that. Thank you. And on the first page, the plant and leaf, it covers the overview of the plant. This is a brief description of the plant in layman's terms for the client to read, where the plant comes from and what sort of soil it requires and positions it requires. This section here is on what the plant is used for. It's got its hardiness zones in here. It also covers the cultivars of the species. So as you will imagine, there's quite a few cultivars. If you need this information, you can easily just copy it out and put it into a Word document if you're putting a report together. If you're not sure of these botanical terms, just pass your mouse over the top. All botanical terms have a pop-up glossary. This is additional information on the leaf if you need that botanical information. Flower and fruit, when it flowers and when it fruits, and any relevant information regarding that. Cultivation, its soil, containers, the aspect, climate, pests and diseases, pruning, fertilizing, what the plant's used for, how to propagate the plant. Pests and diseases, covers common pests and diseases of this particular plant, which include all the different life cycles, period of activity, and control methods. Diseases, same sort of thing, covers everything regarding the plant, symptoms, etc. And it has control methods at the bottom. Every plant has photos. The 5 photos on the side here can be then downloaded as a report if you need that to give to the client as well. And you can just open that and it comes up in a nice organized system like that, which can be emailed or printed out. The photo gallery. Photo gallery also covers cultivars. So if you want to know about this particular plant, it'll come up in a nice little cultivar picture like that. And once again, you can download it as a PDF. You can scroll through all these photographs and print them out in this nice report form. And you can download them just like that. And it open. And they appear like that. There's plenty of room on the bottom here to add your own notes too, if you have a professional version of PDF. Close that. Every plant has a hardiness zone. You can choose which country you wish to have that in. If you want it in North America, like that, and it indicates its cold weather tolerance. It also has a region of origin map so that you get a better idea where the actual plant comes from. It has a hard glossaries page which covers all botanical features. So if you're studying horticulture, or if you need to know what leaf margins look like, here in the glossary are covering that issue. I'll go back to all plants, plant and leaf, and we'll go back to the visual browser. And we'll go to all plants. Always make sure you go to all plants, otherwise you're not seeing all the plants. It'll remember that you were looking at trees. Okay, so the next thing that I'd like to show you is how to save plants. So say, for example, we did a simple search, which is this, and we loaded it up onto the main frame. And you can see now we're in the filtered plants option here. And we want to add these plants to a selected list. You can right click and add this plant to a selected list just by clicking on this button here. And you'll see that it gets a small tick in the corner. If you have a Apple Mac computer and you don't have a right click, you just come down and click on that, and it'll also give you the option to add it to the selected list. You can select plants from anywhere in the database. So as you go through your little list of plants here, you might say, oh yes, I'd like to have this one, add this to the selected list. Or maybe you felt that you need a perennial, you can go back into another part of the place and just say, oh yes, I'll add this to the selected list. Okay, once you've done a few selections, you can then go into selected file and see the plants that you've selected. If you want to save that selection, you just go to personal storage, you say save selection. It'll create a new file for you. You highlight it, turns gray. You then go to the text box above and you type in a job number 345, or it can be the client's name or whatever. Save it. Once you save it, the plants disappear from the screen. If you want to open the screen again, just go to open, go down to that job that you saved, and then open the file. And the plants appear. Maybe you need to add a palm to it. So we just add this palm to it. And we go back into the selected plants. And they said, oh no, we don't want this awful acacia. We'll remove this plant. So you can remove a plant. And once you've made your changes to your selection, you can then go back into personal storage, save selection again. This time it's tried to create a new file for you, but you don't want to do that. You want to amend the existing file. So you just highlight that and then press save. It'll ask you if you want to overwrite it. You say, okay. And now that's been saved for you. Once you've got your selection, you can open the selection again and you can go down to your job. And here you can see that you've got multiple choices of what you can do with it. If you download it as a CSV, you can then, it'll set it up in a spreadsheet for you with the botanic names so that you can then place additional information if you're sending it off for an order to the nursery, or if you just need a list of the plants with the correct spelling. If you want to email this list, you can then click on this, and in this box here, it gives you the option to add your own address. Or no, you send, here you put the email address of the person that you want to send it to. And on the first line here, you can put in the name of your company. The second line here, you can put in the address of your company. Here's the subject, Mr. Brown's plants. And down here's the body. Hi, Mr. Brown. These are the plants I've selected for you. And then you can choose a file and put in your own logo so that when they receive the PDF report by email, it'll look as though it came from your company with your company address and logo. And then you just simply send it off. I'll just close that. I'll just open that file again. If you want to delete plants out of this or delete a file, you can just go to Save Selection and highlight the one you wish to delete, and it'll give you an option here to clear current. Okay, and then you can just clear that one. It'll ask you if you want to delete this file. You say okay, and then it's deleted. Okay. Another feature that we've recently added in is QR codes. So if you wish to download the QR codes of these plants, you can do that, or you can just you can just download the QR code individually for each species. And the QR codes can be put on drawings or any reports that you want, and the client can then scan it with their phone and it'll reveal the information regarding that particular plant. Okay, I'll go back to all plants. And I'll go now into, oh yes, I wanted to show you some other features of the PlantFile database. Say, for example, we have a plant that's not on the database and you wish to add it in, or you've got your own personal choice. You have a user data input section here. In here, you can add a plant, or you can build your own little database of plants. It's a simple system where you can just put in a family name, botanic name, common name. It doesn't really matter whether you put the correct ones in. Whatever you put in, it'll be fine. And then it gives you all sorts of options to do drop downs. And if you want to add stuff in, you can add it into this PDF format here. I'll just show you an example of one that I've done already. And I'll just get rid of this. Now, I'll just get out of this for a sec. Okay, I'll go back into user data put. So say, for example, this one here. Okay, in here I've already added in some information. Not a lot apparently. But anyway, I can show you, you just highlight this, turn it on, and then you can start typing in whatever you would like to each of these fields. I suggest that you put it in this field first because this is the one that shows up on the PDF report. And you can also put in your photographs, additional photographs, any information that you'd like to add in. You don't have to stick to the format that's in this file. And then once you've done all that, then you can save it. And then if you want to view a profile of this plant, then it'll download a profile sheet of the plant and you can open it. And it'll have the information that you've added into it. So as you can see, that there's only limited space on the PDF report. So as a result, you can put as much text as you like into this particular field here, but this one is limited to 260 characters. Okay, I'll go back to plant list. You can have up to 50 plants added into this database of your own. If you require more plants, you just contact me and I just change the numbers for you. That's simple. And this is a handy thing if you have your own palette of plants and your own information that you want to send off to the client. Go back to here. Okay. You can also, it also has other features like weeds only, plants that indicate which plants are weeds, so that maybe you shouldn't be planting those ones. I'll go back to all plants. It has a pest and disease option as well, where you can go into your pests, and here you can list the plants that are affected by those particular pests. You can open up the file on the actual plant, and it'll come up with all the information regarding this pest. Same with diseases. And it has a botanical dictionary, it has an entomological dictionary in here. This one covers special things like pests and nutrient deficiencies and other terms that are used in entomology. Maybe not directly relating to landscape architects, but students love it. It has a normal dictionary, just in case there's a term you're not sure of. And in this botanical dictionary, it has, you can type in a word and it'll find a meaning for it. And in a lot of cases, it has a little pop-up picture for you. Well, I think that's just about covered the basics of PlantFile. It's a fairly simple program. It's designed to help you save plants. The good thing about it is that you can actually access this outside the LandFX program, and you can then select plants while you're with the client, and then you can come back and open it up in your FX program and then transfer the plants onto your drawings. It's a never-ending story with PlantFile. It's constantly being updated, and we're always listening to clients' information or their requests, and changing the interface or doing whatever's necessary to improve the product. It's got about it's got 3,809 species, and each species lists its cultivars, and there's about 5,000 or 6,000 cultivars listed in this database. Okay, Paul, I think I might hand it back to you for a second now. I think I've covered most of the aspects of this.
Thank you, Peter. We did have a question come in.
Yep.
And I think it's a valid one for landscape designers or architects. Laura was asking if you could search by either the height or the width, basically the size of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So you can filter out plants based on certain height criteria.
Certainly can. You just click on the simple search here. I'll just recycle that so that we get all the plants. There it goes. And down the bottom here, we've got minimum height, and minimum width and maximum width. So you can just put in here, say, minimum height. I don't want to grow it any less than 3 meters, but I don't want it to get any larger than 5 meters. And I'll better make that a bit bigger, 10 meters. And a width of, let's say, 4 meters. And see what we get. Just press the enter button. Oh, it's found 301 species that sort of fit that criteria. And then you can scroll through those and have a little sticky at them. And if you want to see them back on the main visual browser, just click on the button here and they appear here like that. So it gives you some sort of options there. Then you can, of course, save them to your selected file if you wish to do that.
Okay, that works. And the follow-up to that was if there was a way to change the units. It didn't look like you have to search by meters.
I'm afraid so. I have written the whole database in inches and feet as well. So everything's, as you can see, it's got inches and feet. Even the botanical features come down to inches and feet as well. But the search parameters are in metric, I'm afraid. Once NASA changed to metric, we decided it was okay.
Fair enough. I mean, most of the world is in metric, so that makes a lot of sense. But before Peter goes away, if there's any more questions for Peter, and while he has the page open, please get those in. Otherwise, we're going to demonstrate this in LandFX. All right, looks like nothing's coming in quite yet. Remember, there's a Q&A box at the bottom of the screen if you want to ask any questions for us. I guess I'll take control and show how it looks within LandFX.
Okay, Paul.
And then we'll come back and see if there's any follow-up questions at the end of the show. All right. Sure. Well, thank you, Peter.
Yeah, no problem.
That was very informative. And as you can see, there's already kind of a lot to digest when it comes to using PlantFile. I'm just going to take the screen now. Okay, so now that we've seen what PlantFile looks like, the interface is pretty much identical when it comes to using it within LandFX. And as Peter already mentioned, one of the great things about it is that you can access your PlantFile database and whatever settings that you have applied to it on any web browser, on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer. without LandFX, but then also you can access it within LandFX. So that's what I want to show now. So you should be able to see my CAD screen here. I just have an example drawing open. And so once you have that subscription, you'll want to switch your plant database to the PlantFile database. And the way you do that is you open up your planting preferences, and there's just a little drop-down menu here where it says Plant Database. Click on PlantFile, click OK. And now if you go into your plant manager, you can click on New, and instead of going to our wiki-based plant database, it's going to open up your PlantFile page here. So we're just going to give it a second to filter out my latest search. So it already knows that I searched for Acer palmatum. That was my last search, so I'm just actually going to click the X there and the refresh button. So now it's looking at all the plants available because I have this button selected. And so what I want to just demonstrate now is just quickly finding a few plants. Peter kind of already went through the details of using the simple search and the advanced search and some of the other filtering tools that are available in PlantFile. So I don't want to repeat too much information, but I just want to show how it works in connection with LandFX. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually search for that maple, the Acer palmatum there, and I have a little drop-down menu, so I can just click on that since I already know what it is. And it's going to give me the plant. Like Peter already showed, I can click on View Details, and it's going to open up the plant profile. All kinds of good information here. It does start with the metric. Peter is in Australia, so I mean, it makes total sense. But there's also the imperial units here for reference. And all that same information that he showed is available. And if I want to add it to my LandFX project, I can simply click on the Add to Project button, and it's going to show up in my plant manager. So let's do that again. Let's pick a different plant. So let's wait for it to filter out that Acer here as it searches through all the plants and photos within PlantFile. And this time I want to actually search by common name because I forgot what the botanical name was for this tree that I'm looking for, but I know that the word floss is in the name. I can't think of the entire name of the tree, but let's search just for a floss key term. Looking for a particular tree. Ah, that's what it is. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Characia speciosa, the floss silk tree. That is the one I want. And since I already know I want it and say I don't need to go into the view details, I can just click on the Add to Project button. And right away, it's going to add it to my project within LandFX. So now we have two trees in there. Let's do the same thing with the shrub. I'm going to go to my shrub section and search for a shrub. Now, if you do accidentally search for a shrub within the trees category of the plant manager, once that's added into your plant manager, you can go into the edit plant information box and switch the category from trees to shrubs, and it'll move over quite simply. And as you can see, I've already selected this, and it recognizes that it's already in the project, and so there's a Remove from Project button here. But since I'm looking for shrubs, I want to find the plant that I'm looking for, and I'm just going to look for a lavender plant here. Something common. So I'm going to go for lavandula. And I know that's the plant that I want, but I'm just going to stick with the genus name and see what it gives me. And so now I can look at all the different lavandula that are available. And I know that I want the angustifolia. So I'm going to add that to the project. Now I just want to show that because I have added those three plants to the project, those are automatically grouped into the selected plants list here. So if I click on the selected plants button, it recognizes that I have already gone through and picked these plants. So these are in my selection group or pool. And once you have a selection pool going, as Peter showed, you can save these into your own profile. So I'm going to do that now. I want to say that this is my entire plant palette. It's it's a small plant palette, and I want to save this for later use, no matter what that might be. So I'm going to go up to my drop down here, and I'm going to click on Save Selected. And it creates a new group for this selection, group 1, because it's the first one, number of plants in group. That's not there yet, but I can click on it and add a description. And whatever that description may be, that's up to you. I'm just going to say webinar example and click Save. And just like before, my selected plants disappeared from the selected pool. But if I go to Open Selected, I should now have a group with a description and 3 plants in that group. So if I click on it, I have a few options here. And let's just run through them left to right. So download CSV. This is just a very quick way to get a spreadsheet of your plant list. So by clicking on that, it's going to ask me to save a CSV file. And I can save it to my drive, or I can simply open it up right away. And it's going to very quickly give me an itemized list of my plant palette. So very quick way to generate that plant report. And then you could go through and fill in more details if you need, or just print this out as a reference, maybe an index for your plant palette. The next thing on the list is email PDF. By clicking that, and Peter did already show this, so you know that you can send type in the email address, add a body, add a subject, add photos of the plants or whatever you want to add pictures to, and then click send. And once you do click send, the receiver of the email gets the email with all that information, but attached to the email is you get a plant report. And this is a neat little feature here, because the plant report comes with all these kind of necessary information for the plant. So a very quick way to get not only a photo of the plant, but the names of the plants, what kind of plant it is, the size, water use, climate. So a very, very quick way to get some pretty pertinent information on that plant. And so like Peter said, great way to, once you come up with a plant palette, to send that over to a client for approval, or to pull up on a whim when you're meeting with a client to show not only what the plant is, but some of the details behind the plant, plus a photo. And I think the photo feature is super key for conveying what kind of landscape design you're going for. So we've got that. Now, when using this in LandFX, a few things happen. So if I edit the information, we still get the default tree width or shrub width when it comes to adding the plants into the plant manager. So this part isn't that much different. However, there is added plant data from PlantFile that comes with it. But say that I want to set this plant up and start placing it in my design. I found it's neat to pull open the PDF that you can generate from PlantFile to kind of fill in some of these gaps. So I'm going to open PlantFile back up, and I'm going to go to the tree that I'm looking at, and I want to generate that plant profile list. And so I just want to do that through PDF form. So I'm going to actually open up my group that I just created, and it's going to give me the plants here, already added to the project. And if I want to enter details for the Acer palmatum, I can click on this, take a look at the plant profile, but also create a PDF of all this plant information real quick. Just print PDF, save it to your local disk or wherever, and then compile a nice document with all the plants within your palette there. So I've already done that with the 3 plants that we're using. So I can open up my Acer palmatum here. And just shrink that down so everything fits. And so right next to my plant manager, I can go in and edit my maple. And I see here that the height is 13 to 17 feet, but the spread, which is the width, is 13 feet. So my symbol width is going to be 13 feet. If I was in metric, it'd be 4 meters. So I know right away I can set that to 13 feet. And I'm just going to give it a symbol. Let's give it this guy. And you can add in whatever information you want to, as you normally would, and click OK. And now you're set to start placing your maples in your plan. Pretty quick, pretty easy, and pretty accurate, knowing that you have this this plethora of information with those plants. And so same thing goes with the others. I'm just going to quickly choose a symbol, and I already know this is about 27 feet for the floss silk tree, and let's say it's 3 feet for the lavandula. I'm going to give it a kind of a shrubby symbol. And I'm set to just start placing plants in my, my planting plan. So here I'm going to place a floss silk tree, maybe over here where there's lots of room, and just start designing right away. And since I've already printed all these PDFs out, I can compile these into a single document, print them out, have a hard copy book of my plant palette so that whenever you need to refer back to your plant palette, you have basically a hard copy book of all this good information on the plant. Great reference points to have alongside with your plant palette. And the last thing I kind of wanted to show here is when I run a schedule, I can go to the plant data, select fields, and some of these items like the zones and sun use, water, all that kind of translate to the plant data. So if I want to show what zones my plants fall into or the sun requirements for those plants, I can select those in my schedule so that when I place a schedule, you get that data alongside with it. So you can see here, it's kind of small, but the Japanese maple, good in zones 9, 10, 11, requires full sun. Lavender, much more hardy, so many different zones, also full sun. So kind of right away automated plant data coming along with that plant. And hopefully in the near future, having even more of that data kind of transfer over to your plant list. So looks like we have a few questions coming in. I'm just going to go back to the slideshow real quick. And kind of a last note here. I know it's already been touched on, but one of the coolest things I think about PlantFile is that you have this option to take it with you on the go, whether you're accessing it from your mobile platform or your laptop. You can have all of this cool information to readily show up to clients or to send to clients right away, no matter where you are or what device you're using. So you don't have to have CAD with you at all times to show these items. And it's fairly automated and quick. So this leads into one of the questions that came in. It is subscription based. And so the pricing is here. I included the Australian cost because it hails from Australia, so I thought that was appropriate. But then the US dollar amount here. Peter, if you want to go over this, if you'd like, and then I'll kind of field some of these questions and bring those up.
Certainly. Well, I think I run it at a very affordable rate. So if you could $21 for 3 months, or $32 for 4 months, or $50 for the year. So we've not designed this to be an expensive item, but we want everybody to access it. We have a lot of students that also access it as well. So we have to make it very affordable. Just share my screen again. Yes, please. Share. And it's pretty easy to do once you're in PlantFile, because if I log out, for example, and it's in demo mode. When it's in demo mode, it only has 101 species available, and it's limited in its functionality. To subscribe, you just click on the subscription button, and if you want it in American dollars, then you just press American dollars, and it's very straightforward. Okay. Once you subscribe, you'll be sent an email to verify you're a real person. That email sometimes ends up in the junk pile because it's got a link in it. The other thing is some people cannot find that email, and they just send me an email, and I just work it out from the back end. So I'm always available to help with anybody who's using PlantFile. I think every day I get messages from students or teachers or other users having small problems, and I resolve it pretty quickly for them. To log in, just put in your login, just like that. And once you've logged in, you'll see that straight away that the additional features like the user data input, the personal storage, and the quiz, which is something you guys probably won't use, but we have a quiz here for people who want to remember, say they want to remember botanic names or things like that. It has a little quiz with about 15 questions all about the plant, and it creates a report at the end. Obviously, that's more for students than landscape designers. Okay. The other thing that I think is pretty handy is that I've included help files on every aspect of the database. So if you're not too sure about something, you can always go to the help files. Even if you're in personal storage, open selection, they always have a help file here to indicate how this all works. So you don't have to go running off to some other website or anything to find out anything about the database. It's all as one unit. It's complete. I'm just talking about the photographs. We continually add photographs to it. I accept photographs from other people. If they are interested in supplying me shots, then I just add them into the gallery, or if they've got additional information that they think should be needed to be added to it. We've been doing a lot of work with the photographs over the years, and traveled to many places to get exactly what we need to show. Okay, I think that's about it, Paul. I can't see any other things that I need to show people.
Yeah, just a few questions coming in here.
Yep.
Some I think I'll need to get to in a little bit, but let's start with George's question. Have you considered adding information for the WUCOLS, WUCOLS, which is water use classification of landscape species?
I have put water usage in up to a point. I haven't used that particular scale, but here we got it gives an indication that it's either a low water requirement, 1 from 3 per, so I've got some sort of idea, because in Australia, water is an important issue, so they need to know what plants require more water or which ones require less, so that we've done some sort of indication of what the water usage of the plant is. But the answer to his question is no, I haven't thought of putting it in, but it can be added.
Certainly, as water usage becomes more and more important to consider, and WUCOLS is kind of a standardization of that. It's something certainly we can look into and discuss as this kind of develops further. And
yes, yep, that's right. Just need a little bit of help from my end. If people have got information like that to send me, fine, let's put it in.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's how we are too. It's all criticisms, all, ideas are welcome, so that we can continue to improve upon the systems we have.
Mm.
Dennis asked if there is a limit to the amount of lists that you're able to save under your project. So that is there a limit to how many plants can be in the groups that you save?
No, there's no limit. I think you're going to add the entire database in there, I think, if you wanted to do that. But so far, we haven't found any issues about limitations of number of species. So no, Dennis, you can add as much as you like in there. I think the only issue, Dennis, might be if you try to email a large list, you might find that it might get clogged up in your email system because there's a lot of images as well. So I bear that in mind that if you've got a big palette of plants, maybe you should make 2 lists and then send them off as separate PDF reports.
Certainly. And concerning plant reports sent via email, and I'm guessing it's the same as the question earlier, but is there a way to show sizes and feet on the email PDFs?
Not currently. If it's the only way I can do that is I have to talk to the programmers and get them to change the database.
Right. Yeah.
So that it generates inches and feet.
Certainly something that can be looked into as well.
It is something.
It's definitely good input.
Yep. Well, the more people that start using PlantFile in the inches and feet world will pressurize me to do the job. But I don't think it's a big deal. I can actually talk to them soon about that.
Yeah, and this is an interesting question that honestly I didn't even consider leading up to this. But as far as the subscription of PlantFile, is this something that is it something limited to like one user at a time, or can it be a single subscription used across multiple computers, or how does the subscription work?
Primarily, the subscription is a single user. If you have a small company, what we do is we can set it up on the server so that everybody can have their own individual files. I do that in the universities in Australia, where they subscribe and give me they have a yearly subscription, and then as many people in the university want to hook into it, they can. But to be honest, if you've got a small business of like 3 or 4 people and you subscribe to PlantFile, there's nothing really stopping you from accessing it from multiple computers at the same time or handing it around. It's very hard to police, of course, but people have to be a little bit fair as far as I'm concerned, like.
Yeah. So it's certainly possible that multiple users can be on at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Let's see. This next one is something I can answer. This isn't quite a capability yet, Matt. He asked if the images from PlantFile can be easily imported into LandFX. So our tools haven't changed to simply add these in. It would be kind of a workflow of either combining either the PDFs that are created through PlantFile, which is already a really cool system, or saving those photos on your local drive and then using the LandFX tools to say like the plant callout tool to save into LandFX. So there's not like a seamless save or click to add photo into LandFX, but certainly some fairly quick workarounds to get those in there if they need to be on a specific sheet or whatever you're looking for.
And anyway, Paul, it's early days. We've just launched this in LandFX, and we will be developing it as we go along, so that people can add, especially in the user data input, where they can add more than photographs than what's currently available, or we can develop it so that we can transfer these photos directly into the program.
Very cool. Okay, questions just keep coming in. Let's see. So Audrey, she asked, how long does it usually take to get the registration confirmation email? which I believe would come.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow, Audrey. Sorry. It usually takes 10 minutes or something like that, and then it comes through. If it doesn't turn up in your email inbox, it's probably turned up into your junk box because it's got that link in it. But once again, Audrey, if you have an issue and you find you can't get onto it, you just send an email to sales@plantfile.com, and I have a look at it straight away and hook you up. So we have had a few little issues with all those things, but they generally speaking, it's been pretty good.
Okay, very good. And then I think this might be the last one. So George Hutchinson wanted to know if I'm assuming he means the user of PlantFile, can they edit some of the existing plant data?
Right. Okay. Well, George, the story there is, if you want to change the story on a set plant, you can open PlantFile twice on your computer, and on one of them you go to user data input, you create a new file, you then go to the other file, you open it up, and you select what information you want from this and transfer it into this, and then amend it as you wish and create your own file on the plant. And you can put your own photographs in or whatever you like. This is very flexible, this user data input section. It doesn't have to be what it says. For example, in here it says flower, fruit, and leaf. Yeah, in here you can type in anything like big toe. You can type anything you like in there and it'll set it up. So what I'm saying is this template is a pretty flexible template that you can use to create your own files from existing files or whatever. I hope that answered the question.
Right, and is that something that's then sort of tied into the user's profile, so they have access to it, or is that something that goes?
So if they want to add that plant to their, so they currently they can only create a PDF report on each of the plants. Okay.
Okay. But that's then saved for later use, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's still in development stage. The whole thing's still in development stage. Never ends.
We just say they're organically developed.
They are.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to throw up your contact info here, and then I don't know if you have any closing statements or anything that you want to.
I'd just like to thank everybody for watching this, and if they're interested, they can always contact me by email, and I'm ready to talk to them. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Peter. And to all you watching, thanks for showing up and asking some good questions. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.